Hey guys, back again doing another weekend project. Today we're going to do something simple, easy and fixable. We're going to change the front passenger side strut on this 5 Series BMW. This is a strut that we're going to go and replace. They do offer already struts with the coil already assembled. Take your pick. You could pay 120 bucks for the whole assembly, or you could pay 60-70 bucks just for the strut. Definitely on your budget. Pretty simple job, guys. Just make sure that before you get started, have a nice set of tools with you. And if you're at home, make sure you're using proper jack stands whenever you're working on any vehicle to secure the vehicle, and that way it doesn't fall and hurt you. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and start removing some components. We're just going to go ahead and remove some of these harnesses out of the way. This is a brake line here, and then you have a ABS a line. We're just going to go ahead and just pry it out like so. And the first thing we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and take this 10 millimeter nut. I think this is a headlight little, I forgot what you call it, but it has to do with the headlights. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. So let's go and do that real quick. There we go. Now if yours is turning like mine, pretty easy, don't freak out. We're just going to go ahead and put a little wrench here, so that way it can stop from turning it. So let me go and do that real quick. And I believe that's a 10 millimeter. Is it? I think it's a 10 millimeter or 8 millimeter that I could just put in here. Oh, there we go. And then once you put that in here, I'm gonna go ahead and ratchet the rest out. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, let's just put in this in here like so, and just ratchet this little guy here. And there we go, guys. That's gonna allow us. Okay, so once you remove this little guy from the lower control arm, we're gonna go ahead and take the brake caliper out. You can use a flathead screwdriver to compress the piston just a little bit, so that way when we take the 2 bolts in the back, the caliper could come out without any issue. So all you do, just make sure you get a flathead screwdriver, and what you want to do, I normally try to put my screwdriver right in the middle of the rotor like so, and just push it inwards to allow that piston to compress like so. Okay guys, so once you compress those the piston a little bit, we're going to go and remove 18 millimeter bolts, one here and one here at the bottom. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and just remove the whole brake assembly out, and we're going to go ahead and support it, hang it. You can use a bungee cord, whatever you have in your arsenal. And I'm going to go ahead and put the torque specs up here when you need to torque these out. Okay, so I'm going to remove this real quick. 1 and 2. There we go. Let me get these out of the way. And both bolts, they're the same length, so you don't really have to worry about which one goes first. So this was the bottom, this is the top one, same one. And just use a little brake caliper hook, and I'm just going to go ahead and this is why we were able to compress the piston a little bit, so that we can remove this from here. And while I'm doing, I'm just gonna go and hang this out of the way. Okay, once you properly supported the brake caliper, the next step, we're gonna go ahead and remove the sway bar link, which is this little guy right here. Now this is a 16 millimeter nut that we're going to take off, so let's go and do that real quick. Now in case you run into an issue where you try to take this 16 millimeter nut or 5/8 and the ball joint, the sway bar ball joint keeps on spinning, you could always use a 5/8 wrench, and then you can put a little hex key. I think that's a 5. Yeah. So you could just hold this and then just torque that as well. Remove it. So let's go see if I have any luck removing this little guy. I should be able to remove it because I just replaced these sway bars not too long ago. Oh, there we go, like butter. Alright, let me take this off real quick. Put this out of the way. And put this nut back so that way I don't lose it. And we're just going to go ahead and just move that out of the way like so. Alright, and this is a good time to inspect your sway bar link just to make sure everything's good. This is pretty solid, stiff, so we're good to go. Now the next step, we're going to go ahead and start removing this bracket here. And also there's an ABS wire that we're just going to go ahead and just remove out of the way. Here, let me see if I could. Actually, this is a ABS, yeah, wire. We're just going to go ahead and take it move it out of the way like so. And the next step, we're going to go ahead and take this bracket that's holding on to the sway bar link, and I believe this is a 16 millimeter bolt. And now if it does start to turn on you, you could also put another wrench here to hold on in place. Alright, just make sure that when you remove everything, you put this bracket back so that it can hold all the other things here that we remove. Alright, so let's go and remove that real quick. And I think it is a actually no, I'm lying guys, it's actually a 18 millimeter I believe so. Yeah, 18 millimeter, and this should be a it's gonna be a 16 or 5/8. All right, so let's go ahead and zip those bad boys out. Get those out of the way. Here we go. Hopefully once this is turning. All right, so see how that's turning. So let me go ahead and get a 18 millimeter wrench, put it in place, and just zip that bad boy out. And I'll put the torque specs up here on the screen for this nut. Just get out of the way here like so. Alright, let me remove that bolt. Alright, here we go guys. Alright, there we go. And I'm going to put the torque specs on this little guy. This one, I'm going to put it right here on the screen so you can torque this back. So I'm going to move this out of the way, like so. Kind of keep yourself organized. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and also remove. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and just. Alright, guys, I'm just going to go to remove this, the little wire here, because we are going to have to pry this shock a little bit down, so I don't want to risk damage it. All you do is just grab a little pick and you just kind of like go just like some little clips. You can just unclip those like so up here, and that should open it, and you can just pry the ABS sensor out of the way like so, and then you just turn it, So we just pull this little tab and then push it out. That way we don't damage this ABS sensor, because otherwise if you pull on it, and you kind of see what I'm talking about when we do get to that part. So we're just going to kind of get this out of the way and we don't damage it, okay? So let's go to the next step. Okay, so the next step, we're going to go and remove the tie rod that's holding the steering knuckle. Now, this is a 24 millimeter nut that we're going to remove. Yours might vary, but so we're going to go and try to see if we can zip that out. See if we have luck. If it doesn't come out, you can use a 24 millimeter wrench, and this is a hex ball joint. I want to say that's holding in case this spins. You could go ahead and put a 10 millimeter socket, and you could use a wrench to take this out. But let's see if we have any luck. Zipping that bad boy out. Alright, nice. So ours did come out. Here we go. And again, if yours was stuck or if the ball joint kept on spinning on the tie rod, you could put a little 10 millimeter socket and just wrench this bad boy out. And I will put the torque specs right here on what this needs to be removed. Now we're gonna. Okay, so once you remove that nut from the tie rod end, the next step, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can remove it. If it doesn't budge, what you can do, you can use a mallet. Do not use a metal hammer to hit the steering knuckle. This is made of aluminum, so it will go ahead and deform it or make a dent. Or if you have access to like a puller, you can use a puller. Several type of pullers you could use that you have, but in my case, I'm going to use a mallet and just gingerly hit it, see if it can free. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get that out of the way like so. And then once we have this out, we're going to go ahead and remove the lower control arm here. I believe this is an 18 millimeter bolt. Let me show you right there. And I'm going to use a 18 millimeter wrench to hold that in place. So, give you guys an idea. So I'm gonna put a 18 millimeter wrench in here like so, and I'm gonna get that 18 millimeter impact set up, and we're gonna zip that bad boy out of the way. Do that real quick. Alright, and then we're just gonna come up here from the bottom. We're gonna get this. Alright, so the next step, we're gonna go and remove the lower control arm here by the subframe. This is a 18 millimeter nut, and I'm gonna use a wrench to hold on that nut, and then this is the actual bolt up here that I'm gonna use the ratchet to remove that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, and then we'll continue with the next step, guys. Okay guys, so once you remove this bolt, I'll put the torque specs up here so you can go ahead and torque that back. Make sure that when you take it out, you don't damage the threads when you're pulling it out, because it does get a little bit tight here, but it's going to give you enough room for you to remove this like so. So let me go. Alright, so once you remove that bolt for the lower control arm, just push the lower control arm down. And this is a good time to inspect your ball joint here, just to make sure everything's good. This one has some play, so I'm going to have to change this. That's a different video on this as well. Alright, so once we have this, the last step, we're going to go to remove this. I think this is a thrust on this BMW. And I believe this is also a 18 millimeter bolt. Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can zip that bad boy. And again, if yours, if your nut just turns, you could also put a wrench here holding this nut, and then just zip that bad boy. So let me get my impact gun so I can zip this bad boy out. Alright, here we go. Alright, so let me get a smaller socket here. Alright, I got a smaller socket on my little impact gun. Let's see if I could get this bad boy out. Alright, so let me redo that one more time. Do this with two hands. Alright, there we go. And I put the torque specs right there on tying this bad boy back. Let's go ahead and continue. Okay guys, so before you remove that bolt, you want to have something that's going to help support the steering knuckle. So I have a little bucket here. I'm going to remove this bolt. Again, once you remove it, you want to gingerly just remove this out of here, and then that's going to allow us to sit the steering knuckle. If it does fall, we're going to have some support here. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, and just don't forget to put this in place with the bracket here, so that way everything go back to normal. And I will put the torque specs up here of what needs to be torqued. Okay, so once you have that, you're going to go ahead and just gingerly remove that support. And basically right now the steering wheel is floating. And the next step and final step, I'm gonna get you can use a flathead screwdriver, something that looks like this, and you could kind of hit it with the little dead blower hammer, and that's gonna open up that spacer. But I actually have a special tool for this vehicle. And you could get this at eBay or Amazon. This is the part number in case you're interested. It's a Strut spreader bit, and it's very, very useful, especially if you work on BMWs a lot like I do. And what the splitter does, it'll go in here like so, and then you're gonna get a 13 millimeter. See if I can show you that in action. You get a 13 millimeter socket, and the way it works, you put this bad boy in here, and then you put your 13 millimeter socket, and then you just turn it, and that's gonna spread that spreader, and then I could get a little dead blow and just pry the steering knuckle out of that. So let me go show you that in action. Okay. Oh, before I do, let me go and open up the hood, because we're going to go ahead and expose three 13 millimeter bolts that we're going to go and loosen up, but not just yet. Okay, so let me go and show you what this looks like. Alright, so that's perfectly opening the slit there. And I'm going to get a little dead blow, and I'm going to tap this. So I'm gonna hold this steering knuckle and I'm gonna tap it, and with this spread it's gonna allow me to get that out of the way. So let me go do that real quick. Okay guys, sorry my battery went out. I wish you guys could have captured it, but I was able to hit this with the dead blow hammer. Make sure you use something like this. Don't use the metal one, because you could definitely damage the steering knuckle since this is aluminum. But see how that tool really came into place? If you don't have that tool, that's fine. You could also use a flathead screwdriver where you could kind of pry it in there to kind of open that up. And I'm just gonna put this steering knuckle here, and then I'm gonna come here and just take these bolts out. And again, I think that's 13 millimeter. Yeah. So it's gonna. All right, guys. So I'm almost done. I'm getting the last bolt here. And just make sure that either yourself or you have somebody grabbing that strut there at the bottom, because once you take this bad boy out, that strut's gonna go ahead and slide down. Okay, so again, let me see if I can hold it with one hand and take it out the other one. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the strut, and as you can see, it has been leaking for quite some time. That's the reason why I'm replacing this. And according to the service manual, it is highly encouraged once you if you change one, to change both of them, so that way you can have a nice smoother ride. So let me go ahead and get this in my spring compressor, and that way we can swap this bad boy up. Okay, now you can go to your local auto parts store and rent one of those McPherson spring compressors to compress that. But I actually have the luxury of having a spring compressor that's going to allow me to do this job. Alright guys, so I just want to show you guys how to dismount it in case you're at home and you're trying to take it out using this method, or if you're using the portable spring compressors. All it is, you just take this dust cover off using a flathead screwdriver, and that's going to expose that nut, and I believe that's a 21 millimeter nut. And this is a good time to also inspect your mounts, just to make sure they're not in bad condition. This one seems better days. I'm gonna try to see if I could look to see if it needs to be changed, or I'll swap it off. But let's go ahead and get this 21 millimeter nut. Oh, there you go. Hopefully you guys saw that. Make sure that, I forgot to tell you, hold it while you're taking this out, or have someone hold it, or you could kind of have someone to help you with. And again, it loosely came out, which is great. Now if yours didn't came out just because it was pretty stuck in there, you could actually use a wrench and you could put a hex key there and take that nut out. Luckily the nut came right off, so that's pretty good. See that? So again, I'm just going to inspect this, and I think I'm going to swap this one out. This is the original BMW motor mount. I'm going to see if my local parts store has it, but just kind of give you an idea. Once you remove this, let's see if I could put this here like so. Make sure that you don't forget the washer, and then the strut. Give me 1 second. Okay guys, so just keep note, you have the nut, and I think I'm going to replace the motor mount just because it's falling apart. I see here that this fell apart from here, so I'm going to call my local auto parts store, see if I could get this replaced. And I can definitely see the wheel bearings are pretty dry, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and get this replaced. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. And then don't forget your don't forget that when you install this, make sure you put this corner here, put it on this lip, and you put everything back to normal. But what I like about this compressor is I could just plug and play. Basically, I'm just gonna grab the new strut. Check this out, guys. Look how bad it is. Just got stuck. It's crazy, huh? Look how slow it is. Super stuck. Seems better days. So like always, compare it with the new strut. Make sure it has the same configuration. Obviously it's aftermarket, so it's not going to be 100% there, but you know, definitely go ahead and see how bad that is. Alright, so this one, let me cut this out real quick. Alright, let's get this bad boy. There we go, check that out. So what you want to do, you want to go ahead and just compress it a couple times before you install this bad boy. Just make sure you do a couple times, and then once you do, we're going to go ahead and install this like so. Alright, just compress this one more time. Perfect. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this installed, guys. Once I call my local auto parts store for that top motor mount, top mount on the strut, and then we'll go ahead and put this back together. And basically everything else, guys, is in reverse order. I hope this video helped you out. Again, I put the torque specs every single time it was taken off apart, so you can put everything back. Don't forget to make sure that you change both struts, so you can have that nice suspension ride. And like always, whenever you change any suspension part, definitely get it aligned. It's worth that extra investment, so that way your tires don't get eat out a certain way. So if you like this video, guys, thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.